Hello my friends, ever wondered if your Power BI dashboard could automatically warn you when something is amiss? Today we're diving just into that. We'll learn how to configure an automated alert system on top of your Power BI dashboard. Then we'll kick it up a notch with Power Automate for sending smart tailored emails that pinpoint the risks and issues hidden in your data. Guys, this is about building a self-reliant system that fine-tunes your response to key performance indicators in your dashboard. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to this channel to stay updated with advanced BI and data science projects. Now, grab a cup of coffee, sit back and watch. Let's start by going through the scenario we want to design the alerts for. So we have this Power BI report. It was designed to track the consumption against budget. If we look at the tables we have two main tables. We have the budget table, so we have 5 different projects and we have 3 stages for each project. Those are more like cost centers for the project, not a stage, but they're called stages here. Anyways, for each of the stages or the cost centers, we have an approved budget. So this coming from one source, and we have another source or another table. This table shows the contracts signed against each of the cost centers or budgets. So we have this contract signed on this date with this amount against this project ID in this stage, and this is the contract reference. So the idea of the dashboard is to track, are we exceeding the budget or not? As you can see here, we have a filter for the project, and we have here the total budget, and you can see here we have the total spends, and we have the target or the approved budget showing here. And of course, if you select a specific project, it will reflect this specific project. The next visual breaks down the total budget for each of the stages, as you can see here. The next KPI visual shows the spends, the total consumption for each of the stages, as you can see here, and it shows here the budget, here the difference between the spends and the budget, and the percentage spent from the budget. So here, since we are exceeding the budget, it shows more than 100%. And this repeated for all of the stages. The final visual here, we have a matrix, and it's the most important visual for our alerts. It basically lists all the projects and all the stages, and it shows the budget for each one, the approved budget, the consumption, the remaining, and we have a rag color showing if we're exceeding the budget. The rag colors are designed to show green if we exceed the budget up to 5%. So if you see here, we're exceeding the budget by 4%, it's still green. And from 5 to 10%, it will show amber. As you can see here, we have exceeded the budget by 8%. And more than this, more than 10, it will show as red. We exceeded the budget here by 20%. And if you right click, you can drill through to see the specific contracts against any of the projects and a timeline here for the signed contracts. So what we're trying to do here, we want to design an alert system that keeps an eye on the rags to make sure that we don't exceed the budget, or to alert us whenever the budget is exceeded by more than 5%. The first thing we need to do is designing some cards to track this number for each of the budgets. Let's do this in a new page. So we'll add a new page first. And we start by adding one card visual. And we feed to it the percentage of consumption from the budget. So let's select this one. Next, we need to customize this visual by filters for a specific budget. So for a specific project and specific stage. So let's add in the filters the project name, and also add the stage the visual filters. And we need to filter it for a specific project. We can start by this project and by this stage. So now we can see this number belongs only to a specific budget. And let's also add a title to this card. We'll make the title dynamic, automated, and we can do this by creating one measure. Let's right click on the project table here, add a new measure. I have it ready, I'll just paste. So the title is basically takes the project dash the stage. Let's enter. Now we can go to format your visual, general, and we turn on the title. Let's expand it from here, and we go with conditional formatting, and we need to feed in a field value. We'll select the measure we just created. Let's search for it, title, here it is. Click OK. Now you can see the title is showing for the filtered project and stage. Let's just add simple formatting to this card. So we have the first card is ready. Now we need to repeat this for the other stages and other projects. So all we need to do is just copying this, and this time we change the stage for design. So these are all the 15 cards. After some formatting, you can see the percentage is showing for all of them. There's one important thing here to mention, that the alerts only works with numbers. So you need to make sure that you have a number in the card. It can be integer or decimal number. So now the next step is to publish this dashboard. So what we're going to do here, we're going to publish this dashboard to the tenant. And of course, to publish a Power BI report to the Power BI service, the online service, you need to have an account. So you need to make sure to create an account with work email only. It doesn't allow you to create an account based on Gmail or any other type of personal emails. And you just publish it to My Workspace. And you click on select. When it's done, it shows that it's a success, and you can open it from this link. So you just click here, and it takes you to the online service or Microsoft Fabric. As you can see here, this is where the dashboard is published, and you can see all the pages. You can navigate through them from here. Now the next thing you need to do here is pin each of the cards to a dashboard. And to do this, you can hover over any of the cards, and you can see here an option to pin visual. Click on it, and it tells you whether you want to create a new dashboard or existing dashboard. I'll just create a new dashboard, give it a name. Let's name it or budget alerts, and click pin. Once you do that, you can go to the dashboard from here, and the dashboard shows this card. Now we need to do the same thing for all the other cards. We need to bring them to this dashboard. And by the way, you can go back to the report by clicking on this tile. It will take you back to the report. So we need to pin now each of the visuals, and we can select to existing dashboard, and we select the same dashboard we have pinned the first visual to. Here we go. We have pinned all the visuals or all the cards. In the dashboard, they will be called tiles. So we have the 15 different tiles. Now we can start creating the alerts. To do this, you come here to any of the tiles. You see here the 3 dots. Click on them. More options. You'll find here an option to manage alerts. This window opens for you. You click on add alert rule. You keep the name as is, which is the title for the tile, and we come here to the condition. You have two options, either above or below. For our case, we care about above. And the threshold where the alert will be triggered, we need to set it here. If you notice here, it automatically picks up the number showing in the tile, but it doesn't pick up the number in percentage format. It picks it up as a decimal number, which is 0.99. But this is not the threshold we're after. We're after exceeding the budget by 5%. So we'll replace this number by 1.05. So this means 105%. Next, we want to set the maximum notification frequency. Before we select any of these two options, there is one important thing we need to understand about the alerts. The alerts will be triggered only when we exceed the threshold. This is the first condition. The second condition, if the data is refreshed. And the third condition, if the value has changed. So for example, if you look at this tile here, we have the number is 120%. So the first time this alert will be triggered when you publish the dashboard. However, it will not be triggered until the data is refreshed and if and only if this number has changed. So with this said, you can decide whether you want the alerts to be triggered every day or every 1 hour whenever the previous conditions are met. And if you don't want to get so many alerts, it's good to keep it at most every 24 hours. So once a day as a maximum. So the final thing here, if you want the alert to send you an email, you just check this box. And this will send an automated email to the account you use to log in to the Fabric online. So that's it. We have the alert ready and you can save and close. And of course, you need to repeat the same process for all the 15 tiles. I have already done this. So now we have all the alerts set. You can access any of them by more options or the 3 dots and go to manage alerts and you can find them here. It has the same format. You can turn on send email to. Now we're ready to test the dashboard. Let's see how the alerts work. First of all, we want to update the data. For simplicity, this dashboard is connected to an Excel sheet. As you can see here, we have the consumption and we have the budget. So let's test, for example, for the design stage of this project. We have project ID 103 and the stage design. So we can simply add more contracts. So I have added these 2 contracts with these amounts. Now let's go back to Microsoft Fabric or the online service. Now let's see how we can refresh the dashboard. You can go to my workspace where the dashboard is published. You will find the published data set here. All you need to do is refresh it. But before we do that, I will also show you how to schedule refresh for the dashboard. You can, from this icon here, schedule refresh, click on it. So all you need to do, you need to make sure that you set up the gateway and link it to a connection. And for setting up the gateway, you can see at the documentation here, I'll leave you a link how to install and set up the gateway. The gateway is important because it will show Microsoft Fabric how to access the source file or the source dataset. So we need to make sure that we set it correctly. Next, you can come here to refresh and select configure a refresh schedule. You can turn this on and you have the options to make it daily and select the proper time zone, and you can add times from here. You can add up to 8 times. For example, we can set it at different times. So this is how you schedule a refresh on the dashboard. You just click apply and you're good to go. Let's go back to my workspace. For now, I will force refresh, just refresh it manually, and see how the alerts will be triggered. So we have refreshed the data model. Let's look at the report. Now we can see the rag color is red, so we expect the alerts to be triggered. Let's go back to my workspace. We have here the dashboard we created earlier. Let's click on it. And if you notice here, it shows a little bell here with the number 1. That means the alert has been triggered. And if you click on it, it will show on the top here that we have the alert triggered. Now let's see how the email look like. I have the email here open. You can see I received this email. It has the project name, the stage, and it tells me that the current value is 1.12, which exceeds the 1.05 threshold. And if you click here on the link, you can go to the dashboard. So basically, this is an automated way of triggering those alerts. And if you create a scheduled refresh for the dashboard, the whole process will be automated. Whenever data is added to the data source, the dashboard will refresh based on the time schedule. Then those alerts would be triggered if we exceed the threshold, and an email will be received. Okay, my friends, we have seen how to use the default data-driven alerts. However, there are limitations with these alerts. First of all, you saw the email we received. It's not very intuitive. We can see how the numbers are formatted. It doesn't give us so much information. Also, it looks like it's coming from an automated system, and it can be easily ignored by people. The second limitation, what if I want to send the email to someone else? So imagine you are managing the budget in your company and you have so many stakeholders managing different projects. So you want the alerts to go to them. And the final limitation is, what if you want to customize this email? For example, you want to have more than one threshold. If it's more than 5%, you want the email to be customized in a way. And if it's more than 10%, you want it to be customized in a different way. And this brings us to Power Automate. I'll show you now how to use Power Automate to overcome all of these limitations. So let's go back here to more options and go to Manage Alerts again. If you notice here, you have the option to use Microsoft Power Automate to trigger additional actions. Let's click on that. You can see that Microsoft Power Automate opens for you, and it takes you to this page or to this template. And of course here you need to log in to Power Automate. You can use the same account you logged into Power BI or to Microsoft Fabric. And you can ensure the connection from the 3 dots here. You can switch account or log into any other account. Once you do that, you can see the check mark that it's linked to Power BI. You can click on Continue. So here you can see this first block. It says when a data-driven alert is triggered. You just click on that. You want to select the alert ID, and if you expand this, you can see all the alerts we have already defined are listed here. You need to create one workflow for each one of them. Let's, for example, select any one here. We can select Skyline Towers here, the design stage. Next, you'll click on the plus sign here to add the next step. And for the next step, we'll use a condition. Let's click on Add an Action. So the options open for you here. Let's look for condition. You can see here we have the condition. Just click on it. So here you can see the options for the conditions, if it's true and if it's false. Click on the condition. You can set the criteria here, choose the value, and you have two options, either to use expression or select a value from the previous steps. Let's click on that. So we will select tile value, which is the value of the tile. And here you can select if it's greater than 1.1. So if it's greater than 110%, it will go to this direction. If it's less than 110%, it will go to this direction. So we have the condition set here. Now we will create the email. Again, click on the plus sign here, add an action, and we'll look for send email. We'll select Office 365 Outlook and select the option send email v2. So we can see here the option for send email is showing, and here you can add the fields. You can here specify the emails. You can write whatever email you want. You can write the emails of the persons you want them to receive this alert. I'll just test with my email. Once you type in the email, you can click on this, use as a custom value. And by the way, if you want to use more emails, you can just use the semicolon and start adding more emails. Here you can provide the subject, and the subject we can design it. For example, we can select from the values the alert title, and you can add red flag budget exceeded. You just type it down, and here you customize the email the way you want. So I have this message customized. You're receiving the red flag. You can make this bold and give it the color red, because the approved budget for the project name and the stage name, let's again make it bold, has been exceeded by more than 10%. And here we can provide the value for the amount it has been exceeded, because we want to format this number. We're not going just to select the tile value, we're going to use expression. Once you open the expression, you can provide it here. The problem with the expressions, it's not very intuitive, it's a bit complex, but I have prepared one for you. I'll just paste it. So what we're doing here, we use multiply, and we multiply the decimal number coming out of the tile by 100, and then we format the number to have one decimal place. You need to provide the format in this way. If you want more decimal places, you just add more zeros here, but we'll keep it up to one decimal place. And you just click add. You can see the expression comes here, and we continue with the message. You're kindly requested to mitigate this issue with all stakeholders. For more information, you can access the live dashboard, and here we can provide a link to the live report from Power BI. You can click on insert link and click on the pin here, and just replace this with the link to the dashboard or to the report, whatever you prefer. And you click on the check mark. So now we have our message ready. If you want to add more fields, you can add CC, BCC, and sensitivity, and so on. But I think for our case, it's enough. You can here set the importance to high, since we exceeded the 10%. So we have the above 10% email ready. We repeat the same thing for the case of the above 5%. So this is the yellow alert. You can see I changed the title, and I have the yellow flag colored with yellow or amber, and we have the same expression added here and the same link to the dashboard. But if you notice here, I changed the importance to normal because this is still yellow flag 5%, and I replaced the issue with risk because we're still in the yellow zone. So now we have our workflow ready. I also renamed this workflow. From here you can provide the value you want. So I changed the name to the project name and the stage. So now we can click save and you can see the flow is ready to go. Let's go back. The last step you need to do here is to make sure to turn on this workflow to make it active. So now it's turned on. Now we're ready to test this. Now if we go back to our report, you can see that this project at the design stage, it's already amber, and I have refreshed the dashboard. So let me show you the email I received. You can see here the email. It has the link, it has all the information and the title. And if you look to the value here, it shows that 8.6. We just missed to add the percentage here, but the rest is as we expected. And also I've done few other tests, tested this for other projects too. For example, you can see for this project we have a red flag and we have the percent we exceeded the budget with is 31.4, and it has the link and the message as expected. So basically we need to repeat this for all the other projects and stages. If you click on my flows here, you can see all the flows you have created. We need to create one flow for each of the alerts. And I know this is a lot to manage, but keep this thought. We'll talk about it at the end of this video. There must be an easier way to do this. But for now, you can just copy this by right click and select save as, and you can give it a name for another project and save it. So you don't have to recreate the whole thing every time, you just edit it from here. And all you need to do is select the trigger and select another ID or another alert from the system, and you can update the message as needed. And that's it. And there you have it, a complete data-driven alert system that helps you to bridge the gap between the raw data and the insights you produced in your Power BI dashboard. And needless to say that this method can be applied to other types of data and applications. If you love this tutorial, smash the like button, leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below, and if new, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Now, let's ponder a question that probably crossed your mind. What if we want to scale this solution to more KPIs? For example, what if we have dozens of KPIs that we want to track and send alerts for? In this tutorial, we dealt with 15 different KPIs. But let's face it, it is a lot to set up and maintain, especially if more projects come or if you're trying to change the content of the emails you're sending. So is there a way to scale up this solution without extra manual work whenever something has changed? Can we create a solution that is fully data-driven and self-adjusting? Sounds like a challenge, right? Well, stay tuned for my next video, where we'll be exploring scalable automated alert system configuration. Until next time, make sure to look into the resources in the description below, where you'll find a link to the material we covered in this tutorial. Peace.